This is an international podcast transmission. Is anyone out there? If you're listening, you've reached the No Fixed Agenda podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to No Fixed Agenda, brought to you by Bubs Naturals. Today we have Carol Yee Gardner.
Yeah. And what can I say? We learned about ingredients.
We learned about
a lot of things.
A lot of things, dude. We learned about essential oils.
That's a lot of what I took out of it was the ingredient factor. Yeah. But we did learn a lot about essential oils and kind of the breakdown of those and the different types of essential oils. She brought in some samples, actually.
Yes, she did. She brought in.
She had the studio all smelling all nice, and it went from cinnamon to lavender to
peppermint.
To peppermint. It was an overwhelming sensation of smells in the studio.
This coming from a guy who doesn't even like to wear deodorant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which we talked about.
You'll find that conversation out when you listen in.
I'm laughing because this country bumpkin over here was like, what is all this stuff? But reality of the matter is we learned a lot about ingredients and how harmful some of the things that we do on a daily basis and what we use in our daily lives can be harmful to our overall health and well-being.
Yeah, I think you kind of know some of the stuff, right? We know that the U.S. allows a lot of their products to have harmful chemicals in it, whereas Europe do not.
Right.
And so people know that it's fucking general knowledge at this point that, we allow a little bit more. So to sit there and actually talk about the natural stuff that still has a lot of harmful shit in it, I thought was quite interesting. And there's some things that you think of and there's some things you don't. Like, a lot of the main reason I don't wear deodorant is because I was allergic to it, when I was younger, and I had this burning sensation in my armpits because of certain product, and so I took that and it was like, now never again. I'm not going to wear it. So,
and then I learned that I'm using the worst deodorant in the whole wide world because it has deodorant and antiperspirant.
Yeah.
But I think she even brought in. I think my takeaway is like there are even. I don't know, just like anything else, man. You go out into social media, you go out into the markets, and you think you're buying a healthy product, and then you get into what the actual healthy product is, and it's actually causing you some form of harm. Now, I from a nutritional coach perspective and from a fitness coach perspective, I don't like fear mongering, but I don't think she did that in any way, shape, or form. She actually looked at it and was like, dude, this is this product that is promoting a nice, whole natural pathogen, and it gives you the ingredient. The two different products smell entirely different, have the same ingredients according to the label, but it didn't. So, but Jeff liked the other product. He liked the peppermint was definitely like your cup of tea. You were like, this smells like Christmas.
It smells like Christmas. What'd you say? It smelled like candy cane?
It smelled like candy cane.
Yeah.
Dude.
It
smells sugary to me.
It was interesting. It definitely, it was interesting to smell those two different products together versus more earthy versus, more of the candy side of the peppermint, right? Yeah. It was quite interesting overall. I know there was no fear mongering with the conversation as far as ingredients. I thought it was just very interesting when it was all said and done, like really what is allowed and not allowed to be in products, and it's food all the way up to shampoos and soaps and everything, deodorants, whatever it is, right? And that's the conversation that I like hearing and having, is because
because you have some allergies in your home.
Yeah, and the more important you get to it, and you'll hear some of that allergy with Des, and now I almost burn her skin off. But anyway.
Yes, he almost burned his wife's skin off. You need to listen.
Anyway, that conversation was really cool. Just from a breakdown of the ingredient side of things. I love that conversation. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I am not. I mean, dude. Homeboy from the hood, we didn't give a shit. I mean, we were taking government cheese and stuff like that. God knows what the hell put that stuff in. I don't feel that, although I do I am leaning into the whole wellness aspect of my health and well-being in the later years of my life because I feel like Western medicine failed me in a lot of ways. So I am looking for the alternatives of things because I don't have answers to certain feelings that I have or situations. So we covered a little bit of that, and there's a whole other slew of, she talks about it, there's a whole other slew of alternative products that you could have for people that have high levels of allergies to certain American-based things like deodorant and detergent and oils and that kind of stuff. So very informative episode, and not to mention Carol's pretty funny.
We had a good time with her. It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
So I was excited to sit down and chat with her. But I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Carol Yee Gardner.
This is No Fixed Agenda, brought to you by Bubs Natural. Their mission statement is simple: live better, live longer. Bubs helps fuel people to reach their maximum human potential through supplements sourced from nature's highest quality ingredients, while giving 10% of all proceeds back to charity. Learn more about their NSF sports certified collagen peptides and electrolyte drink mix at bubsnaturals.com.
How did you guys meet?
Gosh, we met at a gym 4 years. No, well, how long ago was that? No, less than that. 7 years ago? About 7 years ago. It was an obstacle course gym, and we knew each other, but never really connected or hung out. We worked out in the same classes. He was always just busy. And then when I moved in here, we have mutual friends that joined the gym. Because I want to sign up. He goes, but my schedule's all over the place. I don't know if I can make it to your classes and all this other stuff. And I was like, yeah, man, come through. And I'm working out alone half the time. He's like, I work out like around noonish, sometimes 4, sometimes whenever I have a chance. It's perfect. We've known about each other, but we recently connected about 2 years ago. He's been on my hip side, and I've been on hip side, and we've been holding hands. We felt deep in love.
Yeah. The short answer to that is yes. I don't even know how to even.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know.
I'm just.
He calls me on the weekends. Our wives are jealous about.
So,
but anyways,
yeah.
There's a bromance.
A little bit. That's a conversation for another day.
All right, I'm in.
No. I'm down.
we're talking about getting his and his colonic therapist.
Couple session.
Look into my eyes.
Oh my God, dude. I'm too sleep deprived for this conversation. This is going to go sideways real quick.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Carol, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Sorry you had to deal with the chaos of this one over here prior to us going.
I get her lined. I get them primed and flowing, baby. What are you talking about?
Again, conversation for another day.
Jesus.
Yeah, appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to learn a little bit more about what you do. I know have a few different businesses along the way to get to a point you're at now.
Yeah.
But as we get the conversation started, and I don't know what conversations you and Omar had prior to this, but we like to start our conversations with a little bit of an elevator pitch with a slight twist of the Tinder profile. What is gonna make the listener swipe left, swipe right, or swipe up for really interested in this conversation? What's going to keep them listening? What is something that you can just right off the bat give to us?
If you're a busy professional and you want to up-level your life, get rid of harmful, toxic ingredients and find ways to live vibrant lives as you get older, then I'm your girl.
That's simple and easy. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm just gonna be right up front.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the herbal situation.
Or wellness.
Or the wellness side of things. Like I am so far removed from that mindset.
You're my perfect target market.
I don't. Yeah. Why is that? Because we don't have the understanding of everything, and it's a clean slate of
It's a clean
education.
slate. Yeah. But you're open. You went to go get colon hydrotherapy. That's like a wellness thing. Most people would be like, what the hell is that? But you're open to it. And so I assume that you all want to live healthy lives and be really agile and energetic and live a long time and be there for like when you're 70, when you're 80, not walking with a walker.
Yeah.
That the decisions that you make now affect 10 to 20 years from now. And so if you can make the choices and do the things and be proactive about your health and wellness now, it's going to pay off long term. So my philosophy is an 80-20 philosophy. Like nobody can be perfect. We're not living in a freaking bubble. Like we can control the controllables. We can control the things that we bring in our home. We can control the things that we eat for the most part. And we can control the things that we do to enhance our wellness long term. And so those choices of doing alternative, which it's not even alternative. These things have been around for 5,000 years.
Yeah.
Acupuncture, plant medicine, chiropractic, like those things have been around for a really long time. Colon hydrotherapy, like cleaning out your colon has been like a thing that people have been doing for a very long time for health reasons. So doing those kinds of things, being proactive with your health, I think everybody wants that, but I think most people are overwhelmed and they're just like, I don't even know where to start, so I'm just going to keep doing what I do. Or some people are just not even aware at all. And so they might be using like Tide Free and Clear laundry detergent because they're like, I heard like fragrance isn't that great, so I'm going to get like the free and clear version. But they're unaware that to get that product to be free and clear, it's not really free and clear. Like they use chemicals to mask the scents. And so the ingredients that are in your products that you use every day are super important to know. What are you putting on your skin every day? When you wash your body, when you drink your water, is your water clean? We have some control over that. Yeah. The products that we use every day. Are you brushing your teeth with Colgate? What are you using every day? All of those tiny little exposures add up, and there's a thing called bioaccumulation. Like most people are like, I did all the things when I was a kid and I'm fine. I don't have cancer yet. But like every organ in our body we're meant to heal ourselves, right? Like our body's meant to heal. Our organs can only handle so much. And so bioaccumulation means our liver, our kidneys, like those organs that are supposed to cleanse our body and clear out the toxins. If we're overloading it, like it's a glass of water every day, like a little drop gets added in that glass every single day, and eventually that glass overflows. And when our body isn't able to flush out all those toxins effectively and efficiently, then that's when disease comes into play and illness comes into play. Because normally our bodies are able to handle, like you get exposed to a sickness, you get a little bit of a cold, you build up the immunity, it's all good. But like those things in our bodies that when our organs can't handle it anymore, that's when things start to break down. That's when things start to cause disease. So knowing what you're using every day in your home, to clean your home, to bathe your body, to nourish your body, those are super duper important. And using things like essential oils to help support your body can be super helpful instead of using toxic products that have chemicals, that have side effects that are awful. And then just thinking about like long term, what do you want for your life? If you continue the way that you are, you might be healthy, especially if you're working out, you're doing all those kinds of things. But physically, mentally, spiritually, what are you going to do to ensure that 20 years from now, 30 years from now, I don't know if you guys have kids, but I have kids and my kids are in their 20s, 19 and 21. Like I want to be the grandparent that's agile, that's able to pick up my grandkids and throw them around and go on trips with them and That's my goal.
And so that's my point. That I would love to. First of all, is that kind of your target audience? People that are in that age of, in my 20s, I wasn't thinking about essential oils. I wouldn't think about, I was drinking water out of a hose, man, out of a garden hose, bro. You know what I mean? I was shooting BB guns at my friends, dude. I wasn't thinking about any.
Yeah.
And so your target, your demographic is really people over 40, I would assume, people that have realized like they're not going to live forever. We're not going to live forever. And so I did colon hydrotherapy because I had done all the other Western medicines. So I'm listening to you talk, and you're right. Some of these things have been around for thousands and hundreds and longer than Western medicine has been around.
Exactly.
We got away from them as a society or as a humanity because other things were introduced to us socially, economically, all these things where people are, no, take this pill, you're going to be fine. Do this one thing and you're going to be fine. Do this treatment and you'll be fine. I went back to the wellness area partially because I heard the pitch, partially because she started talking about some of the symptoms that I have.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, that could be it. I went to Western medicine. They told me everything was fine. I know what I feel like, and I know what I used to feel like.
Yes.
There's a disparity between those two things. I'm willing to try anything to make myself feel better again or the way I used to.
Yeah.
So is that who you are primarily targeting? People that are, is that who you, not target, but usually work with?
Yeah. I'd say my demographic is 20 and up.
20 and up.
I look at my kids and they're way more into wellness, sustainability, the environment, like all those kinds of things than I was in my 20s. Like I had no clue and I didn't care. But I'd say probably moms and dads like 30 and up are probably more my demographic. I'm 55, so like people my age for sure, women my age that are going through perimenopause, menopause. I think we just aren't taught the things growing up. And medicine, Western medicine has been like what we're taught to focus on, right? Go to the doctor. They look at just a certain part of your body. They look at a specific range that somebody said was normal. And then here's a pill, or go get this surgery to get this thing taken out or whatever. And it's not a holistic viewpoint, right? They're not looking at what are you eating? Like when you went to go to your doctor.
Nobody
asks that, right?
Nobody. Like, what is your, you're gaining weight. No shit, dude. Yeah, I'm gaining weight. I'm telling you, this is one of the side effects that I'm having.
Yeah.
And here, go take Ozempic or something else. Like, no, dude.
Exactly.
I work out 5 to 6 times a week. I eat 80%, 90% of my diet is good, low fat, whole, clean foods.
Yeah.
On the weekends, I'm going to go on a date night with my wife. I'm going to do the things, but that's not going to cause me to gain weight. My stress levels are a certain level, like all those things. But you're right. It was Western medicine, I think, in a lot of ways, I think when we were in our 20s, we weren't thinking about those things. But I think Western medicine has failed society in a lot of ways. And so now you have younger people looking into these holistically. What essential oils can I do? Yeah. Do I need to go hydrotherapy? Do I need a massage?
Well, don't you think as a professional, though, that social media has actually helped out with that?
Oh, yeah.
Because
100.
You get people that are younger that are stuff on social media. You get those reels and stories that are expressing the more holistic approach. We've talked to somebody who is a gut health specialist. That's holistic in a sense, like how do you deal with gut biome and all that stuff. That and we've had those conversations. That's becoming more and more prevalent of how people treat their gut. Yeah. So it's
Netflix made that real popular.
They did. Yeah. You start to see it, and that's how I kind of started seeing some of that stuff. And granted, I knew Sarah, who we had on, but you start seeing more and more of that stuff. So it's got to be a little bit easier to get that younger demographic. Yeah. And to do it, I would assume too that how much of this is still considered alternative though? That's I guess
in California where we live, I don't think it's super alternative.
You're talking about Midwest?
I think it depends on where you live at. Yeah. Because that's one of my thought process. As soon as you said alternative, I was like, really? This is still considered alternative because there's so many people that are looking into it in one form or fashion or the other, at least on the West Coast. Granted, if I go back home to Midwest in Illinois, it looks a little bit different, right? So
go get your country fried steak and corn, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, but it is one of those things. Like I think social media has had to help out.
For sure. I think it's definitely helped because it's breaking the cycle of Western medicine is like the only thing, right? Like people start looking on social media now to learn about the carnivore diet or whatever. No doctors really teaching about those kinds of things.
I don't even think they're qualified in a lot of ways. The doctors are not. They're not. I know we have doctors that work out at OTH, man. They're like, no, they don't tell us to do that stuff.
Well, they taught what they're taught. So they only know what they know. So it's not that they're doing things poorly or badly or to harm us. It's just they only know what they're taught.
Correct.
And they're only promoting the things that they're taught about. And they have pharmaceutical reps that come in every week and give them big, huge gifts and take them on trips and
samples
all of
and
that.
all that stuff.
So exactly. So it takes a special kind of Western medical person to like think outside the box and do their own education to learn about these things and not just be black and white about if you are in this range, then you are okay. Because
that drove me crazy.
Yeah.
Man. I've talked to you about my testosterone stuff, man. And they were like, your testosterone's fine. And I'm like, okay, but I was probably used to feeling this way when my testosterone was at this level. And now it's like at this level and I'm starting to see some things. I don't like this feeling. I know what I feel. And granted, I have no grand illusions that I'm going to be jumping around like in my 20s and my 60s, man.
Is your body going through changes?
It is.
You're going
It
through
is.
Are you spending a little bit extra time in the bathroom?
I am, dude. I wake up a little extra time at night. Yeah. Yeah. A few times a night. My sleep pattern's all jacked up.
Yeah.
Jeez. But all that stuff is so like plus I have a history of gut issues. All that to say is, dude, there's so much more out there in the wellness space that I think the society, the public needs to know. And I love the term holistic because they don't just look at it from one aspect. When you talk to a wellness professional, hell, Yvonne blew my mind with some of the stuff she was saying. Dude, TMI, but she was breaking down my stool samples and I was like, okay, like, dude, we need to get her on the episode. We can talk about my whole series. That'll be a fun thing for you, buddy.
Poop conversation.
Poop conversation, baby. But all that is like
to talk about is poop.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. We talk about it all the time.
Let's
but
talk
I
about
think like as men and as a woman going through the 40s and 50s, like we're not taught what happens for men with your hormones. And we're not taught. Nobody talks about going through perimenopause, menopause, and all the physical and hormonal things that happens. It's just you're told like, okay, good luck. You're going to have hot flashes. You're going to have mood swings. You're going to have this. I haven't heard anybody talking about guys going through menopause.
They
right?
don't. They don't.
No.
There's absolutely
right? But
nothing.
There's definitely
some
stuff
symptoms.
That, like,
yes.
There's symptoms. There's prostate stuff. If you can be proactive about those kinds of things, and maybe you could go through it a little bit less, whatever. And that's the goal. My goal is helping people know there's options and maybe this can help you get through whatever a little bit better, mood-wise, physically, mentally, just whatever. I know for myself, I was using essential oils and supplements regularly. And I went through menopause and I didn't have night sweats. I didn't have the majority of the symptoms that my friends at the same age were having, but they don't use the products. They use all the products with all the chemicals in it. They don't do all the things that I'm doing. And so I was able to pretty much fly through it fairly well.
Is that what got you into this profession?
No, I've always been in the wellness sphere. I have a master's in social work, and I was inpatient, outpatient psychiatric therapist. And then the goal was I was going to open up my own private practice and do therapy. And then I got pregnant and didn't want to have an epidural, didn't want to have a C-section. Wasn't planning on having a natural birth, but then I came across a technique called hypnobirthing, which is using self-hypnosis during birth. And I took the classes thinking like, this won't work for me. I'm a type A person. There's no way I can get hypnotized. And instantly went into hypnosis when she went into that part of the class. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to have a natural birth, but I'm going to take this class hoping I might have a better experience or get the epidural later. And I ended up having an amazing, super empowering 7.5 hour completely natural birth from my first baby. He was 8 pounds something ounces. And then my second birth was 2 hours, completely pain-free, like comfortable. Wish it had
Pain-free birth.
Wish it had actually been longer because I was enjoying myself.
Wow.
And I feel like 2 hours wasn't quite enough.
You're the first woman that's ever told me they enjoyed childbirth.
Yeah. And that's how I got into the class, was because I started watching a TV show called Baby Story. It was on TLC. And this woman, I just was watching it religiously.
I remember the show. I remember the episode.
Just follow like a pregnant couple and like their experience. This woman was on the show and she took hypnobirthing. She had to have Pitocin. She was in the hospital and she looked like she was asleep. And I was like, what? She's having contractions, all the things. And afterwards, she said that was enjoyable. And I was like, what the hell? Like, what? I have never heard this.
Had you had a baby at this point?
No, this was when I was pregnant and I was freaked out about having to go through labor because like my sister had an emergency C-section.
He had all the stories.
Yeah, my friends had emergency C-sections. I knew all the negative stories. So immediately after that show, I looked up on the internet, like, what is hypnobirthing? And I found somebody that was local and I was like, this is crazy, but I'm willing to take it. So that was like my first foray into not the usual. And then I got into energy healing and other things. And so when it came time to open the private practice that I thought I got my master's degree for, I was like, hold up, I got 2 kids under 3. I have 0 brain cells to like even form a full complete sentence. How the hell am I going to do therapy and be effective for anybody that is having any kind of life problems?
How long have you been in practicing therapy?
I hadn't had a private practice. I'd done inpatient, outpatient psych treatment and group therapy. And then I was a geriatric social worker, but my master's in social work. And then I was a licensed clinical social worker. So I had planned to do the private practice thing, but then.
But you were working in it for a period of time.
Yeah.
How long was that?
5 or 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, there's no way I can do therapy. And then one of my friends was like, you just had 2 great hypnobirths. Why don't you teach that? And I was like, boom, perfect. I can do that. It's at night. It's happy couples, right? They're excited. It's the same content over and over. We don't have to do daycare. And so I started teaching hypnobirthing. That morphed into hypnofertility, which is hypnosis for infertility.
Oh, wow.
And then I became a certified hypnotherapist because I loved how effective hypnotherapy is, way better than any kind of talk therapy because it just gets to the subconscious mind so much more quickly.
Do you think you can be hypnotized?
Everybody can be hypnotized.
I don't know.
If you want to be.
Yes. Do I want to be? I don't really know.
I've tried.
That is my honest answer.
Have you tried?
No, I have not. I don't know if I've really ever had any interest. Not to say that if I didn't have something I needed to get through in life, that I wouldn't maybe try it. But I guess I've just never really been in a position where I'm like, do I really need to be hypnotized for any one reason? To me, being hypnotized for no reason doesn't make sense. It just does not compute in my brain. If I had an addiction of some sort, if I was going through some stressful stuff that I needed to get through that I couldn't, I would probably look at it and say, okay, let's try it. But I am fortunate enough to never be in that position to feel like I needed it.
I've tried it.
I think it's interesting. I see people that have gotten hypnotized before. I've talked to people that have gotten hypnotized, and the experiences that they share and the after effect is like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I totally respect the fact because it's interesting and how that happens.
Yeah.
Are you saying you want me to try and hypnotize you now?
Cluck, cluck your chicken. Go.
You can try, bro. I've tried twice.
Yeah.
And has it never worked.
Never worked.
They're like, oh yeah, talk. You're like,
Is that because you were oh, this isn't going to work. It's like,
No, not at all, dude. I really wanted to be hypnotized. I didn't mind. I'd make a fool out of myself, dude. Make me walk around and like in a thong and cluck like a chicken. I'm out.
Yeah.
Imagine the content, bro.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be awesome, actually.
And I wasn't even aware. I can't even blame it on the fact that I wasn't in my right mind, man. But no, I've tried it and I've never been able to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You haven't ever done hypnotherapy with me.
Yeah.
So all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So if you want to be hypnotized, it's basically a deep state of consciousness. You're still awake. You're still aware. Your conscious mind, the part that you're aware of, might feel like it's asleep or taking a nap. And as long as you come back to the room when I tell you to, or when the hypnotherapist tells you to, your subconscious mind is what the hypnotherapist is talking to.
Okay.
And that's the part of your brain that's like hardwired, like a computer. So every memory, every experience, everything you've ever said to yourself, every TV show that ever said, like, birth is painful, awful, horrific, is programmed there.
Oh.
Every time someone that's dealing with infertility gets told, like, you're infertile, you're trying to conceive, you have no eggs, you have no good sperm
Can't have a
motility.
baby.
Wow.
Yeah, that gets programmed in there. And especially with those like emotionally charged kinds of things, that program gets played in the background all the freaking time. It's just on constant there. And so what hypnotherapy does is it goes in, finds that program, helps delete it or switch it, creates a new neural pathway, like scientific proof that hypnotherapy can create a new neural pathway, which basically is like a new program, hard drive program inserted into that hard drive memory that then the brain starts focusing on more than that old one that has been playing for years. And so it's magical how someone can just come in with the worst fears or phobias or whatever. I had this woman when I had my private practice. She was afraid to drive on the freeway. Like, she would have panic attacks, and we worked through it. And she was able to drive on the freeway again. People who had fear of flying, like, just gone within one session.
Yeah, see, that's a great example of if I had some phobias of that sort. I think I would try it. I think it would be helpful, but
Subconscious and conscious mind. There's so much science on it now.
Yeah.
And I even talk about it when I'm coaching somebody in just an body movement, like sitting down and coming down off a chair and how you normally get up. It's like subconsciously you don't even think about it.
Exactly.
You haven't even thought about it. And the way I get them to realize that a lot of what they're doing in their movement patterns is built subconsciously.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, did you think about getting into the car today? What do you mean? Yeah. Did you think about getting into your car today? Well, no, I just got in my car. Exactly.
Yeah.
When's the last time you thought about turning on the hot water? Never. I just turn it on.
Yeah,
Exactly. So those are the same things.
Yeah, we just go through this automatic process through our life. And so that's what hypnotherapy can really help with. So I was doing that. I thought, oh, this is what I was put on earth to do. I had my private practice, hypnotherapy, hypnofertility, and hypnobirthing, and I was thriving. But when you own your own business, you take time off work, your kids get sick, your clients don't come, your income's not there. And so I was like, okay, my dream of owning my own business, like, it's all great and good, but like, I'm going to have to work till I die because there's no retirement. There's no 401k, right?
You lied to me, dude. Dang it.
yeah, sorry, dude. Sorry. I was trying to give you the whole entire the good sides of being a business owner. I didn't want to put any of the bad stuff out there.
Jeez.
Yeah. But
Any
like,
of the real stuff.
Dang it.
my husband was an elementary school teacher at the time. We were making good money, but like, we're trying to live a Southern California lifestyle.
Good luck. Hard.
So because I had my own practice and teaching and seeing my clients, I was missing tucking my kids in 4 nights a week. And the only thing I thought of was like, I need to like work more because it's not like my husband's teaching job was going to give him a big, huge fat raise.
Yeah.
But the thought of having to give up my weekends and more time with my kids and family, I was like, ugh, I don't want to do that. And that's when Young Living fell into my lap. So Young Living's main product line is essential oils, but they also have like products for personal care in your life that have no toxic ingredients in them. But I had been making this one blend of essential oils using store-bought oils. because I thought that Young Living was a scam. I thought like it's an MLM, network marketing. That's such a scam. Pyramid thing. Like I'd been involved in a couple of them and I was just like, ugh, gross.
Jaded.
Yeah. But I knew that there was this oil blend called thieves oil, like a thief.
Where have I heard that before? Yeah.
It's been around since
I've heard about that.
back in the days of the bubonic plague. So thieves would slather themselves with herbs and spices. They would go and steal from the dying and the dead, but because they had these herbs and spices, they wouldn't get the plague. So when they finally got caught, the police said, tell us what your secret is, you'll get a lesser sentence. So this recipe has been around for hundreds of years. So I was like, I'm going to hack this. I'm not going to buy this Young Living stuff. I'm going to get it from like the health food store and just buy all the ingredients off the Google, whatever the different oils are. And I had been using that for years, taking it internally, thinking, even though the bottle says not to take it internally, it says it's 100% pure and natural. So like, it's fine. And we were still getting that sickness like around fall and winter. Husband was a first grade teacher. The kids were 7.
Oh, he's walking around in Patriots.
Exactly. Yeah. Just like a germ fest. And I was like, I need to do something to help our immune system. And what my fake thieves just wasn't cutting it. So I was like, I'll just buy the real thing. Like I can afford it. And so my friend that I knew, she posted something on social media and I contacted her and I was like, okay, like I want to get thieves. And then she's like, hey, you should get a diffuser so you can diffuse it. So a diffuser is this machine kind of thing that you plug in, you put water in, you put some drops of essential oil and it helps diffuse the oils into the air. And she's, that would be great. It'll help the air in your home. So I got that. I got this kit that I was like, all right, she got me. I got this kit. I'm not going to do it on auto.
A little suckered right now.
Yeah. But I was like, it was better deal to get that than just to get the thieves and the diffuser. But I was like, the other oils will just sit in a box in the closet and collect dust, whatever. But then she put me in a Facebook group that was like all people like testimonials. And then I was like, oh, damn, like you can use these for this, you can use these for that. And I was like, huh. And then I had a success with some oils about allergies. And I put that on my social media. At the time, I think I had 500 Facebook friends. This is 11 years ago. And Facebook wasn't like a huge thing. And then all my hypnobirthing moms were like, what is it? I want it. I want to buy it. And I was like, I guess I'm doing this as a business. I don't know. I wasn't planning on, it wasn't my intention going into it, thinking like this is the thing that was going to help. But I had success with the products and I was sharing them and then they wanted them and then they had success and they wanted to share. And so it just snowballed. And then I earned a trip to Hawaii to one of the farms within 3 months. And I was like, what is this? And then I went to the farms and got to see, they have a concept called seed to seal. Like they see the whole process from the dirt to the seeds, no GMOs, no pesticides. Like they distill in medical grade, food grade, stainless steel, low heat, low steam. Whereas other companies, if they even are in control of that, do flash heat, which is just like a fire using an aluminum drum or an iron drum. And if you know anything about aluminum, it leaches into everything. And then the oils that you're using have aluminum byproduct, which passes through the blood-brain barrier, which goes into your brain. And aluminum in your brain isn't good.
This is the next thing that I'm going to be looking at. I'm serious, dude. I'm dead serious. When I say that the aluminum, it's in our deodorant, dude.
Yes. Oh, yeah. You got to get rid of that.
It's like,
and you've got lymph nodes right there.
Dude, yeah.
And when you're sweating, your pores open up and then that.
I don't use deodorant.
What?
Yeah.
I don't either.
I just learned something. I have to, dude. I stink.
Yeah, I don't
like I smell like a rotten sock, bro.
Should I? Probably, maybe, but
is that what I smell in the gym when you're around, bro?
Maybe, I don't know. I've actually never been a big deodorant person. Never. Yeah, I'll buy a stick of it. That stuff will stick around for 5 years. I'd never get to an end of a stick.
I've always used deodorant.
I'm not a spray guy. I just never got into it.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. If you detox some of the things that you have, then you might not stink so much and you might not need to use deodorant.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some people, I'm not going to point names, but We've had people in the gym that don't use it. I'm like, you need some deodorant. Like,
I think we've had people on the show in the small quarters,
right, dude,
that have needed some too. Some people.
And so, what do you say to those people? Like, what do you not that you need to answer that question, but like the question is from detox. Is there a natural deodorant? Is there?
Yeah, there are.
So does Young Living have something like that?
They do. Yeah.
Like that's kind of what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, aluminum you definitely want to get rid of. There's no.
That's interesting. I didn't really think about that.
Oh yeah, dude.
Aluminum is so much.
But it's even in your body wash.
Yes. A lot of toxic chemicals are in body wash.
It's in your body wash, dude. I use body wash. And that's the next thing I was looking at. I'm like, because I have these symptoms where I'm just like low energy and like sleep patterns disrupted and I'm starting to gain weight and my T levels are normal, but I still am taking an extra 2 or 3 days to recover from a workout, or my joints are always sore. Like those are the things. The first thing was the colon hydrotherapy, and I'm going to do that. But just one treatment, I feel like a lot more energetic, like brain fog subsiding a little bit. And so you bring up the aluminum thing and then make me think of like, maybe I need to start looking at eliminating some of these things in my life as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Aluminum, fragrance, anything that has fragrance, the laundry detergent, those scent booster things.
Yeah, I hate that stuff anyway.
Don't use that stuff.
You're going to tell me you don't use detergent now either?
No, detergent with the fragrance.
Yeah, fragrance stuff. I just can't stand the smell of it. I can't stand the way my clothes smell after it. So Des is allergic to a lot of that shit. Like we don't use fabric softener anymore because she's allergic to it. I made the mistake. We had no idea that she was allergic to fabric softener. And I used, I don't know, it was either the pods or the sheets or whatever. And I used some on her scrubs.
Ooh.
And she said she went into the hospital one day. She works in surgery.
Oh,
and
God.
And all of a sudden, like all of her arm and her face got all red and everything else. And the only thing that we could think of is that we were trying this fabric softener. And from that point on, this was 15 years ago. From that point on, we don't use fabric softener anymore either. And I don't really notice the difference anyway.
Yeah, you don't need fabric softener.
No.
What do you use?
We just use the regular detergent, the pods or whatever we get, and then I don't use any fabric softener at all. I've learned that if I just use a lotion regularly, that kind of takes away a lot of the static that's in the clothing, which is why people use a lot of fabric softener anyway.
Yeah.
But like fragrance is a huge thing. It's synthetic for the most part. And so synthetic fragrance, there's a loophole that the government has put out there that allows companies to hide, I think up to 1,300 or it might be 3,000 chemicals, like harmful chemicals under that label of fragrance. And they can get away with it because the government said, if it's your trade secret scent, then you don't have to disclose it. So they can hide all those gross chemicals underneath fragrance or perfume. So you want to look at your ingredients and see, is there fragrance or perfume? And even if it says from essential oils, again, like I said, what are they growing it in? Are they using pesticides on it? Do they have GMOs? Are they distilling it in iron or aluminum? Are they even testing the oils for mold, bacteria, contaminants, heavy metals? They're probably not. Whereas Young Living does all those things. So every product that they have is scented with essential oils. They have some unscented, but they have cleaning products that are as good as or even better than the kinds that you can get in the store. They have personal care products. So you can replace everything in your home, all the things that you use, and know like everything that I buy from Young Living, I don't even have to read the ingredients because I know that this company cares about the health and well-being of whoever's going to be using these products. Wow. So yeah, fragrance is huge. And then there's like a whole slew of ingredients that they're hormone disrupting chemicals that you're slathering on your body or washing your clothes with. Your clothes sit on you, right? And they're off-gassing. The sheets that you lay on at bedtime, the towels that you bathe yourself after you just took a nice hot shower where your pores are open, all of those things have chemicals on them and you're constantly being inundated. So why not control the controllables? Get rid of the things that you can.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we can't live in a bubble. We're going to be exposed to things. The carpet here, the paneling probably has some kind of thing that's off-gassing the light, whatever. But we can at least control 80% of the things.
Yeah. I still like to use lead paint.
Are you referring to your huffing?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
I'm referring to huffing. Yes.
Because you can't use it on the building anymore, sir.
What's wrong with lead paint? I use it for everything.
Yeah, it's all good. It sticks real good.
Yeah.
His beard is actually not gray anymore, white. It's actually, he prefers white paint, yo. Yeah, you're right. That's where my brain goes. And I think when people talk about all these harmful things, it's like some people go to the extreme.
Yeah.
Like it's even in the nutritional space is that way. It's horrid.
Yeah, what I don't like, I wish the U.S. government was a little bit more along the lines of Europe and Australia and New Zealand.
Even Mexico's now doing it, dude. I went to Mexico City and they have a lot of stuff.
The more and more of the shit that comes out, that America allows these chemicals versus that, and you can't put this in food, or you can't put this in food, you can't put that. Really, why in the hell do we continue to play into the whole entire shitty chemicals, shitty nutrition?
It keeps people sick.
It does.
Which keeps them in the system of that Western medical.
And that's what I hate about pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like about the medical side of things sometimes. It's driven to the fact of we need to keep people right at a certain level where they need to keep buying certain things, or we're bringing things. Like, it just drives me nuts that you hear this. I love going overseas for vacation. Like, you can eat whatever you want almost and feel like, okay, it's not processed.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more natural. Like, they're using like fresh ingredients on everything.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy that it's the same way when it comes to, like you said, the products that we use in everyday life.
Right.
Like, why can't we just eliminate some of that shit and just...
Yeah. Well, hopefully things will turn around.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about all that. But I think educating yourself is a big piece.
Yeah.
Is that something that Young Living does?
When you buy from me, I have a Facebook group that has 31,000 people in it, in our wellness community. People ask questions and they get advice from other people who have had those kinds of issues and had success with the products. And then you get access to me. So I've been doing this for 11 years and I've got lots of knowledge and lots of books to look at and stuff like that. Yeah. So I can come up with a 3-month plan or a 6-month plan of let's focus on, do you want to detox your home or do you want to detox your body? And let's focus on these kinds of things. Or if you have specific health issues, we can work on a health plan for you that way. And then the other cool thing that Young Living has is a health plan. So they have,
so
they came out with it last year in February, and I'm super proud to be able to help people get an alternative to health insurance. So they partnered with a company called Clearwater, who's been around since 2018, and what is offered is a health share program. So it's called ClearShare. So Health Share is a nonprofit health insurance alternative. So everybody pays a monthly fee. That fee goes into a pool, and that community helps pay for everybody else's medical needs. But
that's a concept, dude.
I know, right? Instead of going to pay to the investors of the for-profit companies, of the health insurance companies. And so there's an annual max that you pay, which is like a deductible. There's a $1,000, $2,500, or $5,000 annual max. Once you pay that, 100% of the remainder is paid through that community pool. And so that's totally different than traditional health insurance, where once you pay your insurance deductible, you still usually have an 80-20 split. And that's why there's so many people that have claimed bankruptcy due to medical debt. There's so much medical debt because people think that they're getting covered with their health insurance, and then they have some kind of catastrophic incident, and then they're like millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt because they thought that their insurance company.
That's the debt that never goes away, baby.
You don't read the fine print.
Yeah.
Because that fine print is very, very tiny.
Very tiny.
You will die with this debt.
But then there's a holistic option that's super awesome. So for anybody that is wanting to be proactive about their health and likes to go see or would like to go to the acupuncturist or the chiropractor or see a naturopath or get IV drips or get a thermography, which is an alternative to a mammogram. If you want to do those things, but they're cost prohibitive because you have to pay out of pocket and most insurances don't cover those things, these holistic health plans pay you back for them. So, for example, I can go to the chiropractor, I go get my adjustment, and I add on a massage. And I pay my chiropractor $210 for all of that, but I'm going to get $175 back from my health share within 30 days, cash, direct deposit. So this health company, Clearwater, that Young Living partnered with, they actually see the benefit of people doing all these kinds of holistic alternative wellness things because we tend to be healthier.
Yeah.
We tend not to go to the doctor a ton. We tend to do all those kinds of holistic things first and foremost and go to the doctor as like the last resort. And the people that do those kinds of holistic things tend to not have long-term chronic health issues or end up in the hospital with like big, huge disease kinds of things because we've been taking care of ourselves and doing the health kind of things to be as healthy as possible. So it rewards us now. They pay us more now because they're going to save money later.
Oh, dude, just think about that kind of thing, or revamping the entire medical insurance system.
Yeah.
Like I've always jokingly said, they should be writing prescriptions for a lot of these people to go to a gym.
Exactly.
Like they should be writing a prescription to do a colonic hydrotherapy.
Yep.
They should be writing a prescription to go do a massage or what have you. And so there's so many more other ways, but they're not going to make money doing that. They're not going to get you on the T, the prescription pad T. And it's sad, but it's good to hear that there's another option.
Yeah.
And I think hopefully that people listen to that because the Western medicine, I think there is a place. To your point, I don't think the doctors are sitting there going, let me go figure out a way. When you walk into your doctor's office, let me see how much money I can get out of this son of a bitch. Like, I don't think that's happening.
Yeah.
But I do think that to your point, they teach what they know. They're going to give you the treatment based off of the information that they have. In the long of it all, they should be looking at it from a different perspective. And it's too grandfathered in now. It's too big. And the change has to be minute, but there are other options out there for people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what else? This is all you're doing right now with Young Living, right?
Yeah. But I'm also working on a hypnosis for fertility course, like an online course.
That's nice.
Really feel like that's a huge issue for a lot of people these days.
And you just work on when you talk about the hypno-fertility, good Lord.
That's a big word for
me. I know.
That is a large
word. My disabilities came through hard on that one, dude. Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. My good sir, thank you. Hypno-fertility. Get my white guy to say it for me.
Yeah.
That's what you're here for.
That's why I'm here.
That's what you're here. Exactly.
That's the only purpose I have.
What does this say, Jeff? But when you talk about those kind of things where you don't go into the birthing rooms with these people.
When I was doing hypnobirthing, I was not going into the birthing rooms. I was teaching the mom to be and her partner how to be proactive, how to make empowered decisions and the kinds of questions to ask to make sure, is this a medical emergency or is this just you're following this protocol of time frame? Yeah. And so a lot of my couples would come back and tell me, the nurses would ask my husband, like, are you in the medical field? And they'd be like, no, but they just knew the right kinds of questions to ask. So in terms of hypnofertility or hypnosis for fertility, I'm not going with them to their treatments. They might be getting IVF, they might not. They might be just doing things naturally. But what I'm teaching them is the mindset of what they need to be focusing on. Fertility is so stressful, right? It's a monthly thing that people are struggling with. And every month that they fail adds to that fear that they're never going to get pregnant.
So let's talk about somebody who's going through IVF.
Yeah.
So where does the Hypno Fertility fall in line with somebody who's going through IVF, maybe having some issues with it? Like, where did they then connect on this level? Like, where is it prior to them starting that stuff?
Anytime. It can be anytime. Yeah. Because what it's going to do is help people see how their language is affecting the chemical reactions in their body. And also help them get rid of the fears, because if we're constantly with that subconscious mind living with that fear of I'm never going to get pregnant, I'm never going to have a kid.
Yeah, speaking your truth.
Then you're living with a low level of fight or flight constantly. And if you have a low level of fight or flight, then how is that uterus and the egg, like how is that going to be healthy? Because your body's going to constantly be in survival mode.
Yeah.
The blood and the oxygen goes away when you're in fight or flight and goes to your heart and your lungs so you can survive. We don't know, our brain doesn't know the difference between getting chased by a bear versus thinking I'm getting chased by a bear. So that's the power of hypnosis for fertility, is it really helps the couples get to a better mindset place where they can know, okay, whatever we're doing, it's all good. And like whatever needs to happen is going to happen to our best, highest, best outcome. And one of the things that I do with the couples when I was seeing them in person was I would go through all the what ifs and worst case scenarios. A lot of times people, they don't want to go there, right? It's scary, it's sad, it's traumatizing. But once you push someone to get through it, they see that if I go past that, I see that I'm going to be okay, whether or not I have a kid, whatever the situation is. Maybe they want to adopt, maybe they don't want to adopt, but it gets them at least to the point where they're not stuck in the what ifs and worst case scenarios. They're able to see, like, even if that happens, it's going to be horrific. It's going to be hard. It's going to be the hardest thing that they have to get through, and they'll get through it, and they'll be stronger for it, and they'll have a wonderful life without kids or with an adopted kid or a foster kid or whatever it is that they decide on. But that's the whole process. It's just total mindset shift of what kind of language are you using? Are you saying that you're trying to conceive? Like the whole language of fertility is messed up. So even if someone's going to IVF because physically there's something not working the way it needs to, knowing that every thought creates a physical and chemical change within your body, you can use hypnosis to put that programming into that hard drive memory to make sure that mom's body knows this is a welcoming environment. That uterus is going to just be like this warm, cozy place for that embryo to hang out and grow instead of, oh God, I just got
Is this
the
going to
embryo.
work?
Is it going to stick? I don't know. Like we just spent this much money and all that stress. The stress of fertility is huge and it's ongoing all the time. So helping couples navigate that is super helpful. When I was seeing clients in person, I had a 75% success rate.
Nice.
Wow. Very cool.
So it was really good.
That's pretty powerful because I've had clients that are gone through IVF or fertility. I mean, dude, some of the stuff out there, just from a cost perspective that some of these ladies will do is crazy. I'm talking turkey baster stuff, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
Yes,
bro.
it's tough because just IVF alone is hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on how long you go through the process.
Yeah, so much stress on the body.
There is so much stress in the environment. The clients that I dealt with, it's like, I can't do this. And so it'd be clients that I'm working with on a one-on-one basis or in the gym. And they're sitting there going, I can't work out today for the next 3 days. Why is that? Because I just got, I met Joe Schmo in some area and he did it into a turkey baster. And I'm like, and it's sad to see the stress that they go through just to do it, man. And I'm like, holy smokes. And it's like, how much money have you spent doing this sidebar thing that is not quite IVF? And they're like, I don't know, I've done it like 5 times at $2,000 a pop. I'm like, you could have done IVF already. You know what I mean? Yeah. You could have worked with somebody like yourself to work to work through those things. But mindset is definitely like a big part of that for sure. Have you done any kind of hypnotherapy when it comes to other areas of wellness? Let's say like weight loss or smoking or addiction.
Yeah. Smoking and addiction are probably the hardest ones to deal with. Hypnotherapy can be super effective, but the person like has to be 100% committed. This is going to be your last cigarette.
Yeah.
So I would have them bring in their cigarettes and put them in the trash, like no more.
Yeah.
Done. And it's hard. Those are the hardest ones. Weight loss, again, you're not losing the weight, you're getting rid of it. So again, a little mindset shift of words that your words are powerful, right?
Yeah,
when you lose your sunglasses or your keys, what happens? You're panicking, right? Where your phone, shit, where is it? Where is it? And you need to find it.
Yeah.
So you never want to say weight loss or I lost this much weight because you will gain it back probably tenfold. So you are getting rid of the weight. You are releasing it. You are letting it go forever.
I like that mindset.
I love it.
Yeah.
Letting it go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks for coming in. I've actually learned so much today.
Dude, it was awesome.
Yeah, I've learned so much.
We're gonna get a partner colonic therapist therapy session going on.
Again, different conversation.
Oh, damn it. So we're talking about wellness, bro. Dude.
People don't need to hear about me and you looking eye in eye as we get colonic. That's fine.
Shout out to, hopefully Yvonne's listening to the episode and I'm like, hey, dude, I do want to get her on the episode. We can definitely have that conversation.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Thanks, Carol, for coming
Carol,
in.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Before we let you go, where can people find you and where can people find you?
I'd say Instagram's probably the best place. So look my name up, CarolYeh Gardner, Garner. It's a well-lived life is my name there.
Very cool. We'll put that in the show notes too for everybody who wants to just click on it and check it out.
I do a little bit of wellness education, but mostly just fun.
Yeah, I was Instagram stalking her a little while. It's like 10,000 followers, bro.
38 though.
Oh, 38,000. My bad.
Don't cut it short, man.
Oh, sorry, dude.
She works hard for that 38.
Yeah.
Sorry, 38,000. And some of her stuff is hilarious, dude. Other stuff is very educational, but yeah, I enjoyed scrolling through.
We'll put that in the show notes for everybody to click on. And again, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
This has been an international podcast transmission of No Fixed Agenda presented by Bubs Naturals. Music was provided by the Poor Dirty Astronauts with lyrics written by Matt Meyer. You can rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you find your favorite podcast episodes. NFA, over and out.